Apple has officially announced its iPhone-centric event for Tuesday, September 9th at Apple Park, and according to the announcement that went out today, the event will start at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. And so let's go over everything that we can expect to see at the event. Now, obviously, every year we pretty much get the iPhone and the Apple Watch. So let's start with the iPhone lineup. We expect the new iPhone 17 to be, unveiled, which includes the standard iPhone 17, the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max, and the brand new ultra-thin iPhone 17 Air. So as far as intriguing phones go, we have the Pros and the 17 Air. Let's start with that one because as you can expect with the name and all, the main appeal of this phone is going to be how thin it is. According to Apple supply chain analyst Ming-Chi Kuo, the iPhone 17 Air will reportedly measure in at just 5.5 millimeters at its thinnest point, surpassing the 6.9 millimeter record that's held by the iPhone 6. However, to achieve this impressively thin and lightweight design, the phone's going to be giving you some compromises compared to the iPhone 17 Pro models, to put it lightly, including dramatically worse battery life, or at least what we're assuming because the battery itself is going to be small. There's also going to be only one single rear camera and one single speaker. The iPhone 16 Pro models are 8.25 millimeters thick, so the 17 Air would be like 33% thinner than those devices, if Kuo is in fact accurate. This ultra-thin design can be seen in the hands-on video, along with some of the other devices' rumored features like a 6.6-inch display with a dynamic island, a single 48-megapixel rear camera on a wide pill-shaped bump, a USB-C port, a single camera, a single speaker, action button, and the camera control button. Now, of course, this is a dummy unit, but we're expecting it to look something like this. Now, before we get into the rest of today's video, I do want to take a quick minute to tell you about today's sponsor, viaim, and its new AI-powered OpenNote earbuds that redefine productivity and comfort. There are tons of great features that really make these headphones stand out from the rest, like Flash Record, which allows you to capture live conversations, phone calls, and even online meetings instantly. Enjoy real-time transcription and translation in up to 21 languages with smart formatting and instant highlights so you never miss a key point. viaim AI transforms hours of discussions into clear summaries and actionable to-do lists in seconds. Engineered for all-day comfort, OpenNote's ergonomic design, flexibility titanium frame, and breathable silicone can keep you fresh and focused. Not to mention, you can also just enjoy some music with high-res audio and 53 hours of battery life, and even a game mode that focuses on reduced latency, as well as various sound modes that can boost your gaming experience. Check out the viaim OpenNote today by clicking the link in the description down below. Thanks viaim for sponsoring this video. Now, previous rumors suggested that this device would have the A19 chip instead of the Pro variant, typically reserved for the iPhone Pro models, so that makes sense, but recent rumors now suggest that the 17 Air will actually come with the A19 Pro after all, with one potential limitation. And that limitation is that it's going to have one less core GPU, so we're looking at 5 cores instead of 6 cores, which is going to be saved for the iPhone 17 Pro models. There have also been reports that the 17 Air will carry the same amount of RAM as the Pro models, which should be about 12. So at least from an internal specs perspective, the Air is actually ending up being pretty pro compared to what we were initially anticipating. Users will still need to circumvent the whole single camera system, especially if you're like me and you're coming from a 16 Pro Max. You'll need to get crafty on how you're going to get some of those high quality images from different focal lengths, but that 48 megapixel sensor should really help out with cropping in and out. The battery life, again, is also a red flag. We're expecting a pretty small battery in terms of milliamp hours, roughly 2,800 milliamp hours, which is slightly less than the iPhone 12. So we're going back about 5 years in terms of battery capacity. However, there have been some improvements to Apple's battery management with iOS 26, introducing new adaptive power modes, and so it'll be interesting to see if Apple launches any other battery-saving features for this phone. Now, the 17 Pro and Pro Max are the other more interesting models here, and we can actually expect a reversal of sorts when it comes to the frame, as Apple is apparently going back to an aluminum frame over titanium. I know, this all sounds weird, and a lot of people are skeptical, myself included, but there are so many rumors pointing to this, as well as leaked frames of the device that do, in fact, potentially confirm aluminum. But We'll have answers, concrete ones, obviously, in the next few weeks. And if it doesn't make sense already, the iPhone 17 Air is reportedly going to have a titanium frame, but everything else is going to be aluminum. So, yes, it seems strange, but apparently this might be happening. We already know about the new design on the back with the camera bump that expands across the entire width of the device, very pixel-esque. And there could be a new orange copper-like color coming to the iPhone 17 Pro models for the very first time, as well as a new blue shade. The Pro models will also feature an updated 24-megapixel front-facing camera and 3 48-megapixel cameras on the back. For the very first time, all 3 lenses will have a 48-megapixel sensor, with the telephoto being the last one to get that bump up, and it'll feature an 8x optical zoom. Now, all 4 iPhone 17 models are rumored to feature a metal-covered battery and other internal design changes for better heat dissipation, but a vapor chamber cooling system has been rumored for the Pro models specifically. The A19 Pro, 12 gigs of RAM, and 5,000 milliamp hours of battery life for the Pro Max are among some of the rumored specs for these Pro models. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we're expecting Apple to also unveil some new Apple Watches. We'll have a new Series 11, Ultra 3, and an Apple Watch SE 3, marking the first time in 3 years that all of these Apple Watch models have been updated at the same time. It has been a few years since we have actually had some major health advancements with the Apple Watch. Thinking back to like the blood oxygen and ECG days, and we actually just got back the blood oxygen feature in sort of a different format, but that has now made its return back to those eligible Apple Watches. But rumors have now suggested that next on the list would be blood pressure alerts. Now, if we do get blood pressure monitoring for the Apple Watch, it's not going to provide an exact systolic or diastolic measurement like standard blood pressure cuffs or monitoring devices. Instead, it'll actually monitor for hypertension, and then will notify Apple Watch users if the condition is detected over time. Hypertension is a health issue where blood pressure stays high over time, and it is a risk factor for heart disease, stroke, and other health problems. An Apple Watch user who is notified about hypertension will be able to provide that information to a medical professional for additional testing. It's kind of similar to how the existing features for detecting AFib can be used as an early warning system. On the inside, Apple is likely planning to introduce an updated S11 chip that offers a more compact, efficient design. We could see improvements in processor performance to increase overall battery life, along with additional space for a bigger battery or other internal components. Now, last year, we actually didn't get a new Apple Watch Ultra, just a darker colorway for the pre-existing Apple Watch Ultra 2, but this year, we are rumored to see the 3rd gen model, and unfortunately, there are very limited rumors, but we can expect to see the following: a slightly larger display than the current 1.92 inches in the 49mm Ultra size. In an iOS 26 beta, we actually found an Apple Watch image with a resolution that does not correspond to any current Apple Watch models. So the resolution in question was 422 by 514. The current Apple Watch Ultra 2 has a 410 by 502 resolution. So we really haven't heard rumors of an increase in the casing size, but the Apple Watch Ultra 3 could be the same size as the current version, but with slimmer bezels to allow for a larger display area. Last year, the Apple Watch Series 10 gained an LTPO3 OLED, which has always-on Retina display, and the current Ultra is a bit behind, so we should expect this new display to trickle on down to the new Ultra 3, which will provide a faster refresh rate in always-on mode. And we can also expect to see satellite connectivity come to the Apple Watch Ultra 3 for the first time, allowing users to send messages when out of range of a cellular or Wi-Fi connection. Now, there could be some other products that are on the horizon. Obviously, we're expecting to see all of the new betas become out of beta, so iOS 26, iPadOS 26, the watchOS 26, etc., all the way on down. But there could be some more products as well, like AirPods Pro 3 with an updated design, a new HomePod Mini, and a refreshed Apple TV 4K. But I would love to hear from you in the comments down below. What are you excited to see at this Apple event in just a few short weeks? And what are you potentially upgrading to, if at all? Let us know down in those comments. This has been Dan with MacRumors. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you around in the next video.